Looking back at all the moments that happened this year, at some point, they really seemed like they were never going to happen. And yeah, it was a very long year. It was a very long year, I'm not going to lie. But looking back on it, I'm happy that I went through things that I went through this year. And one of the biggest reasons for all of that was because of my vision board. Today, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to sit down with you guys and, have a conversation about the year. I'm thinking this might be a yearly thing, just to catch up with you guys and let you know how my year has been. But today, I just, in doing that, wanted to also talk about the power of just having a vision and a goal, and just the power of having a vision board. So, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Delroy. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I started this channel to document my life and to one day look back and to just have memories and videos of my life, showing my family, just showing everything in my life, and just having something to be happy about and to say, wow, I did that. I really did that. So if that's your thing that you are into, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everyone that subscribed so far. I started this channel little over a few weeks ago at the time of recording, and the love that I've gotten from friends and family and strangers has been amazing. It's not a lot of people, but it is at the same time, because in reality, if you were to see those people in front of you, you'd be like, wow, can't believe that amount of people support me. And yeah, for that, I'll forever be grateful. You are the OGs of OGs. At the same time, next year, I'm definitely going to be shouting you guys out. So yeah, I definitely thank you guys for that. And Happy New Year as well. I'm recording this on New Year's Eve. The year's flown by, man. It's been crazy, but yeah, sit back, make yourself some water, some juice, grab a pen and paper or make some notes on your phone and enjoy the video. Also, don't mind me guys, I'm looking at my notes that are right here, just so I can remember where the story lines up, and I just want to say the correct things to you. So, the story starts in 2023. 2023 was another rough year. A lot happened. A lot was affected mentally, emotionally. I took a huge toll, and yeah, everything just felt like it was crashing, honestly. And I reached a point where I just felt stuck. Didn't know what I wanted to achieve. I felt like I was just going through the motions of life. I, at the time, got a new job which led me and my family to move provinces to KZN, where I'm originally from. And at the time, everything seemed very good. Grass was greener, man. That grass was green, my friend. I'm not gonna lie. But the thing about going to where the grass is greener, at first it might seem, yeah, everything is going good and well, but the more and more you are in that grass, the more you realize that it's literally just an illusion. So I was put back into reality quite soon after getting a new job, in a new position, in a new field. And yeah, it was solely based off of risk and just wanting to take a chance at life. I'm still young, still have a lot to achieve and have a lot of ambition, and I thought this is just a part of it. The job started off well and things just started to take a turn for the worse. In my family, mentally, emotionally, and just in terms of progress in life. I know you can't really compare yourselves to others, but I really felt stuck. I really felt like I was just going through the motions, and it was sort of an endless path to nowhere. Things honestly had to change, and I'm glad I was still at a point where I could realize that things had to change and I could take a step back and sort of assess where I was. And yeah, I just didn't know how it was going to change, when it was going to change, but I knew things had to change. So I reminded myself of how I used to plan. So if you know me, I am basically a type A personality. I am a planner. I love to plan. I have lists for everything. I have timetables for everything. My notes are just filled with to-do lists and schedules and everything. I love to plan, but I think where I've gone wrong a lot of times is just executing on that plan. So in 2023, I didn't have a plan. And the 1 year I didn't have a plan was the 1 year things went really south. So the year before I was vision boarding, and the years before that I was vision boarding, and I sort of wrote down a list of things that I want to achieve by the end of the year, and that got to a point where it didn't really happen. I'm still thinking about it now, and I don't really know why that was. So I thought to myself at the end of 2023, because things have to change, I need to start vision boarding again. So let's talk vision boarding. The way I've always understood vision boarding is, yes, there are pretty pictures of the life that you want to achieve, and it's very aesthetic, it's very pleasing, but the whole essence, I feel, of vision boarding is to have achievable and attainable goals. Not to say that you can't dream big, but I feel like it's very important to take notice of where you are currently in reality, and to make use of where you are and plan goals that are easily achievable throughout a period of time, right? The way I started off my vision board was to write down the big goal that I want to achieve in the year of 2024. So for me, my goal was not only to get out of the toxic environment of my work, but my main goal was to hopefully move back to Johannesburg, where one, I'd be able to go back into the career I wanted to be in, two, to be closer to friendship and community. Based on that, I went even further and I categorized the rest of the goals that I want to achieve. And this was spiritual goals, emotional and mental, career goals, relationship goals, financial goals. So the next part was to go on to Pinterest and to create boards based on each category that I had. So, for example, spiritually, I wanted to be a lot closer to God. I wanted my family and I to find a church home. And I just wanted to be more in the Word. I wanted to read my Bible more, and I just wanted to know more of God's Word and just be more present in what He has to say for my life. Mental and emotional boards. After COVID, I suffered from massive anxiety, something which I never had before that, and never really understood why it would happen to me. I am generally a quiet person, quite reserved, but I've never been the anxious type. I feel I've never not gone out because I'm too anxious to go out. I've not ran away from social interaction because I feel anxious. And finally, after COVID, all of that started kicking in. So my goal in 2024 emotionally and mentally was to get that in check. And it was to reassess where I was on an emotional and mental level and just get back to feeling like myself again. Career level, my job was not where I wanted to be at all. The more I looked into it, I studied at the University of Pretoria. I studied quantity surveying, and I always had a passion for construction for as long as I can remember. And yeah, my job that I had previously before moving to Durban was in construction, and I was a quantity surveyor then. But as time went, it was a company that worked with a lot of public entities and government, and yeah, things got a bit shady, and yeah, I sort of fell out of love with the profession, and that's what led me into the big move to project management and into the renewable energy space, which is where I was actually working. The more I found myself in that space, the more I wanted to go back into construction, the more I wanted to go back into quantity surveying, because I realized my passion felt there, and I always wanted to be there, and obviously circumstances forced me to fall out of love with it. But I think the desperation of my situation in 2023 really allowed me to relook at my passion and really want to get back into that space. So that was my big goal, not just to get back into construction, but to get back into quantity surveying as well. Relationships in terms of family and friends and being a father, I just wanted to be present. I wanted to be present with my wife. I wanted to be present with my son, Amari. It was going to be my first full year of fatherhood, and I just really wanted to just be there emotionally and mentally as much as I could be there physically. And I really challenged myself to do that. Then going into fatherhood, that was the biggest thing that overwhelmed me. And as time went, I started to understand the value of being present. And that flowed into every other relationship. Same with my friendships. My friends that I still had back in Joburg when I was in KZN at the time. As much as we were provinces apart, there was still that need to be present in our lives and to check up on each other and to just be there, you know. Into the financials was I really wanted to be stable in that the next job that I get will be keeping me as stable as I was, because the job that I'd moved to KZN was really good in terms of the financial aspect, and I just wanted to maintain that. But also, I wanted to just get into my side hustles a lot more. I wanted to build my social media presence, which I've always been curious and just wanted to pursue a lot more on Instagram, on TikTok, and now on YouTube. You guys watching me, I've really wanted to get to that level where I do get the brand deals, I do get the sponsorships, and I do get that. I know that takes time, and when I get there, you guys will be the first to see it. But yeah, I also just wanted to on top of having a stable job, just expand that into my side hustles and my side passions and social media, just creative work. After I had set out my goals, I downloaded all those pictures from Pinterest and I set up my vision board, essentially, of where I wanted to be, all the goals I wanted to achieve, and where I wanted to see myself by the time 2024 came to an end. It felt good to plan. I think going back to the type of personality that I have, I'm a planner, and to have a plan and a vision of where I wanted to be as much as I wasn't there was a really good foundation for me to actually take notes and take focus as the year went. And like I said before, the main thing that gets a lot of us, myself included, is that we set out all these goals, and within the first week we're like, yeah, I'm gonna go into this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna achieve, I'm gonna do the most. Then the first month passes and you haven't achieved anything. Then the second month passes and you still haven't achieved any of those goals. And then the third month and the fourth month, and by the time you know it, it's December, and you look back and you're like, damn, I really didn't pay attention to what I set out at the beginning of the year, and you just feel disappointed with yourself. And again, in my life, things needed to change, and the motivation of those things having to change in my life made me accountable for the goals that I set out. So I think one of the most important things as well is to just be accountable to yourself. I set out tasks based off of each category and each goal that I had, on daily achievable tasks that I could do. Some of them, it didn't have to be daily because that was going to be a bit too intense, but just to have something that you can work towards getting on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And you look back and you're like, okay, did I achieve that? Is it taking me one step closer to my big goal? Where am I at? And that's basically what I did. I was set and my year began, started off with full of confidence, ready to achieve things, and 8 months of the year passed, none of my goals were achieved. None of my goals were achieved, and I felt myself going back into the deep, dark hole of depression and of disappointment, knowing that I didn't achieve what I had set out for myself. We're in the last 4 months of the year. What's possibly going to change? And I guess the one thing that I'm glad I didn't do is to continue going in that vein and to sort of just let the year cruise until the end. And I sort of did a mid-year review in the middle of August and I realized where I was going wrong. And I think if there's one thing that I just want to carry on through my life, and I feel like it's really important, is just to honor the season that you are in and be content with what's in front of you. I feel like throughout the year and throughout the years, I had so much that I wanted to achieve, and if and when I achieved it, it would always be, okay, moving on to the next thing, let's go. Okay, I achieved this, okay, but I want to achieve this even more, you know? And I got to a point where I wasn't really content in where I currently was, and I just wasn't honoring the season that I was in, and whether the season was good or bad, I wasn't honoring that that's the reality of it. And at the end, I just need to keep on doing those steps, and something will give. Something will give, whether it takes a year, whether it takes a month, whether it takes a day, whether it takes an hour, or a few seconds, something will give and you will achieve what you've set out to achieve. So yeah, I basically went into the discovery of that in the middle of August, and I began honoring my season. I began posting content again. I began being more serious about church. We found a church home. We met good friends and really good people in that church, even though it wasn't for a long time. I pushed my CV again. I was active on LinkedIn. I was making sure I was still striving to achieve where I wanted to be. But at my current job that I was at that moment, I started to give the best of myself, whether my bosses appreciated it or not. I wanted to do everything in my power, knowing that I've done everything I possibly can to achieve my goal. And when I did that, things started to fall in place, and it led up to me having an interview that I randomly took. I randomly didn't think I was gonna get. It was my dream job, basically. And I kid you not, 20 minutes after I had that interview, I had a job offer in my email inbox. And that kickstarted literally me achieving everything I wanted to achieve. It led to us being able to move back to Joburg. It led to us being able to be with community again. It led for us to be in a financially stronger position than we already were. It led to a huge mental shift and emotional shift, which I felt in that season of honoring my season and being content. And it just filled me up with so much confidence, and it just brought me so much closer to God. And it just was such a blessing, and it made me rely on God more than ever before. It made me realize that I can't do everything on my own. I really can't. And the sooner I realized that, the more I put it in God's hands. But I also did the work, and I just had more faith. And I'm just glad that my faith had no bounds this year. And we are sitting here today in a position that I never saw myself being in at the beginning of this year, or let alone throughout 2023. And I'm just really proud of myself that I was able to push through. But ultimately, it all started with the vision. And if it's possible for a regular Delroy like me, it's definitely possible for you. And I just feel that life is there to be lived, and as much as we have all these things that we need to achieve before a certain time, or have ambitions to achieve, enjoy the process. And that's what I'm learning to do. And my life has changed because of it. And it all went down to starting that vision board and taking a leap of faith. And I am where I am today because of it. And I have never felt happier. So yeah, I encourage you guys, take charge of your life today. Write it down, make it plain, make it attainable, make a vision board, make it visual, reflect on it as often as you can, reflect on the daily processes you putting in to achieve that big goal. And I promise you, you will get to where you want to be in life. If you've made it this far, I thank you guys so much for watching me and listening to me ramble on and on and on. I really appreciate your guys' support once again. I see the comments, I see the likes, I see the support, I see the story shares on Instagram, and I'm really appreciative of it. And If you haven't yet, give this video a like and comment what you want to achieve in 2025 the most. So thank you for watching. Happy New Year. Stay safe.